dear students, it's nice to see you again. Welcome to our English course, foreign language course. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at the topic forest man. What is forest man? Let's learn it. The aim of today's lesson is to develop language, communicate, and cultural competences, critical thinking, and creativity, to enlarge vocabulary related to the topic forest man, to improve speaking and writing skills. And the plan of the lesson is to identify the definition of the words a forest and a forest man, to study factors influencing on the deforestation, to consider advantages and the forest for human life, to explain a use of a present perfect, to point out the ways of using adverbs in descriptive writing. Students, when you think of or hear the word forest, what comes to your mind? What is the forest? Can you give me a definition to the term forest? Now let's learn it. A forest is a large area of land that is mainly covered with trees, plants, and wildlife. It is natural ecosystem domination to trees and other vegetation. Next, what is the forest man? Can you give me a definition of the term forest man? A man who lives in, works in, or is close connected to the forest, such as a hunter, woodcutter, and someone adapted to forest life, is the forest man. Next, the following are significant factor influence on the deforestation. First, human factors: agriculture expansion, logging infrastructure development, mining and industry, shifting cultivation. Second, in environmental and natural factors, wildfires, pests and diseases, climate change. Third, political and institutional factors, population growth, poverty, global trade. Four, political and institutional factors, weak forest, governance, land tenure issues, governmental policies. Next, our focus now shifts to several adjectives, advantages of forest for human being. First, oxygen production. Trees release oxygen needed for breathing. Second, climate regulation. Forests keep temperatures balanced and reduce global warming. Third, carbon dioxide absorption. They act as a carbon sink, slowing climate change. For soil protection, roots hold soil and prevent erosion. Five, water cycle maintenance. Forests help rainfall patterns and ground water recharge. Six, source of food, fruit, nuts, mushrooms and game come from forest. Seven, source of medicine. Many modern drugs are derived from forest plants. Eight, timber and raw materials, wood, paper and fuel are obtained. Nine, habitat for biodiversity. They support countless species of animals and plants. Prevention of natural disaster, reduce floods, landslides and desertification. Next, now we will discuss the use of present perfect. First, what is present perfect? Simple. In order to form, we use have, has plus past participle. We use the tense to talk about experience. I have visited London. To talk about actions that happened in the past but are connected to now. She has just finished her homework. To describe changes over time. My English has improved. Second, present perfect continuous. In order to form, we use have, has plus been plus verb ing. This tense is used to show an action that started in the past and still continue. I have been studying for 2 hours to show recent activities that visible result. She is tired because she has been working. Third, present perfect passive. In order to form a we use have has plus been past participle. It is used to focus on the result of the action, not who did it. The letter has been sent, often used in formal or academic style. Many books have been written about history. Next, now let's dive into the ways of using adverbs in the descriptive writings. First, to modify verbs, showing how actions are done. Adverbs add detail to actions and make them more vivid. She walked gracefully into the room. The wind blew fiercely across the valley. Second, to modify adjectives, straightening and softening description. Adverbs can intensify or reduce the effect of adjectives. To view was extremely beautiful. He felt rather tired after the journey. Third, to modify other adverbs, adding this precision. Adverbs can describe the degree of another verb. She spoke very softly. He ran quite quickly to catch the bus. 4. To describe time and place, setting the scene. Useful in descriptive passage to show when and where things happen. The village looked quiet yesterday. Birds were flying overhead nearby. 5. To create mood and atmosphere. Adverbs helps impress feelings, tone, and atmosphere. The children laughed happily, filling the air with joy. He started silently creating tension in the room. On this slide, you can see some simple, meaningful quotations about forest. Now, please, your task to read this quotation very carefully at home, and which one is, in your opinion, is good, or if you agree, please write down and send it to your teacher. Choose the best one and write an essay if you want, and I suppose you will learn of all of them and try to keep in your mind. Next, now students answer the questions about topic forestmen, relying on your knowledge you obtained today. First, what is forest and who can be called a forestman? What are the main factors that influence the deforestation? What are the advantages of forest for human life? When do we use present perfect tense? How is the present perfect tense formed? And how are adverbs used to make descriptive writing more expensive? Now, next, please answer to this question orally. Next, dear students, you can see descriptive learning writing task about forestmen. Choose one of them and answer. First, investigate the meaning of the word a forestman. Then describe in detail how a forest looks, feels, and sounds. Use at least 5 adverbs in your description. Second, study the factors influencing deforestation and describe a place where trees have been cut down. Show how the land has changed over time. Use present perfect tense at least twice. Third, write description for paragraph about advantages of forest for human life. Mention how forests provide oxygen, food, and protection. Use present perfect passive in at least one sentence. Here are in the research project task of the topic forestmen. Cultural perspective on the community's connection to the nature. The idea of a forestman now represent a person who is deeply connected to the forest, living in them, protecting them, and depending on them for survival. In some cultures, forestman is seen as a protector of nature. while in others he is a symbol of wildness and traditional life. Examine how different society understand and represent the concept of forest man. Compare the image of a forest man and various culture and environmental contexts. Research questions are as following. First, how do cultural values and traditions shape the image of a forest man? Second, in which cultures is a forest man considered a protector of nature and in which as a wild and primitive figure? Third, how do different cultural perspectives on forest man influence attitude toward forest and conservation? Next, and now at the end of our lesson, let's make conclusion of what we have done today. And this definition of the words forest and forest man were identified. The factors influencing deforestation were studied, and the adjectives of forest for human life were considered. The use of present perfect was explained. The ways of using adverbs in descriptive writing were elucidated. Next, so it's time to say goodbye, students. Thank you for your attention. Good luck. See you soon.